Egypt is a very old civilization that started along the River Nile because of the fertility of its land. They are tombs full of mummies that belong to their kings and queens, carvings on the walls that might lead the world to some of the darkest secrets of Egyptians. Some tombs are even full of treasures belonging to their beloved mummified kings and queens. Yeah, you heard it right. It belongs to their dead preserved kings and queens. It is a land full of mysteries that lead to producing many great scientists to unearth the secrets it holds, or, I must say, curses. If you want to know how much the soil of Egypt is fertile with secrets of their ancestors, then stay focused and watch the whole video. Ancient Egypt was a rich, prosperous, and powerful civilization led by their kings, whom they called pharaohs. They were considered something in between humans and gods, something divine, because they were chosen by gods themselves to lead the local people. They were preserved after death as they became the god of the dead. The tombs were built as pyramids. It defined their royalty, glamour, prosperity, and riches. But the most astonishing thing is the pyramids, how they were built. Such big structures with carvings in stones and great architecture without modern-day equipment. It just feels like a miracle, and one of the pyramids, the Great Pyramids of Giza, are considered one of the 7 wonders of the world. This indicates that ancient Egyptians started mummification, medicine, architecture, engineering, and even astronomy. We cannot say that Egypt just buried sarcophaguses because it has very great importance for archaeologists and paleontologists, as throughout the year, many fossils of big dinosaurs have been found in Egypt, which shows that Egypt still has many secrets to be discovered. Well, let's talk about recent discoveries made by scientists in Egypt that left them terrified. At Saqqara Necropolis, Cairo, archaeologists have unearthed a lot of valuable artifacts, including bronze and wooden statues and 250 sealed sarcophagi. Sarcophagi are sealed coffins that were used to preserve the mummified bodies of gods and goddesses by Egyptians. Mummification is a process used by ancient Egyptians to preserve a dead body by drying it using some salts and chemicals. These decorated sealed coffins from the site of the cemetery at Saqqara Necropolis have well-preserved mummies for almost 2,500 years ago. This site is considered one of the most bountiful sites, as archaeologists say that it has many more secrets that need to be unearthed. Almost 150 bronze statues were discovered, along some wooden statues with golden faces. Among the bronze statues, they found instruments that were used for rituals in ancient Egypt. The analysis of the tomb of a royal family member, Kali, at this site suggests that it might be the oldest mummy discovered to date. Professor Salima Ikram, head of Egyptology at the American University in Cairo, said, "If this is indeed an Old Kingdom mummy, all books about mummification and the history of Old Kingdom will need to be revised." Ancient Egyptians treated the kings and queens as gods and goddesses, so they would provide large amounts of offerings in the royal rituals of their funerals. They were honored with large amounts of beer. That's why a lot of pottery jars were frequently found at funerary temples. In North Abydos, the archaeologists found a brewery that dates back to 5,000 years at a funeral site. What is fascinating is that it's a large brewery that is divided into 8 parts. Each has almost 40 earthenware vessels and can produce almost 5,900 gallons of beer at a time. The British archaeologist T. Eric Peat discovered the site 100 years ago and considered it a facility for grain drying. But years later, when similar artifacts were found at other sites, then the archaeologists came to know that it was a brewery. The size indicates the wealth of Egyptian royals and the world's oldest industrial-scale brewery. At Saqqara Necropolis, archaeologists discovered a tomb of an Egyptian queen named Naret, wife of King Teti, who was a king of the Old Kingdom 2680 to 2180 BC. Necropolis is a burial site devoted to the royals a little far from the city, and the necropolis at Saqqara, Cairo is an archaeology-richest site. When the burial site near the King of Teti's pyramid was unearthed, a funerary tomb dedicated to his wife was discovered, along with 50 sealed sarcophagi made of wood, some paintings of gods, artifacts, some board games, and the Book of the Dead. More precisely, they were fragments of chapter 17 from the book. Egyptians believed that these writings helped the dead understand things in the afterlife. The book was 13 feet long and 3 feet wide and made of papyrus. It's a sheet made by using a water plant. We could say it was a guidebook for the dead. Archaeologists have been searching for the lost city, the Rise of Aten, for decades, but failed to find it. Egyptian archaeologist Zahi Hawass discovered it while searching for the Tutankhamun's mortuary temple, but while digging, they found a lot of mud walls. They came to know that they have unearthed the lost golden city that dates back to 3,500 years ago. This city is referred to as the Lost Golden City because it was one of the largest cities at the time of the Golden Period, when Egypt was ruling all over the world. It is one of the most important discoveries made in Egypt, as it will give us the insistence about the lives of ancient Egyptians. Archaeologists know a lot about the temples, funerary rituals, and mummies, but after this discovery, they will find out about their daily lives. They found storage rooms, grinding stones, places for meat production, bakeries, vessels, daily life tools, jewelry, and a lot more. Archaeologists are excited because it might lead to solving the mystery of why King Akhenaten abandoned the Rise of Aten. At the Red Sea port of Wadi el-Jarf, archaeologists discovered hundreds of inscribed fragments of papyrus in one of the caves. Astonishingly, it had records of the construction of the Great Pyramids of Giza from 4,500 years ago. Till now, there were a lot of mysteries related to the construction of the pyramids that were unsolved. It had a journal belonging to one of the high-ranked officials who was taking part in the construction operations of the Pyramids of Giza. It had daily entries shedding light on the material used and the daily lives of the laborers. He reports that limestone blocks used to cover the exterior were brought by boat on the River Nile. It is written in hieroglyphic words, and Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities says the documents indicate the highly efficient administrative system in Khufu's reign. One of the archaeologists said that it feels like these inscriptions have time-traveled us to the time when pyramids were built. In the western desert of Egypt, precisely in the Bahariya oasis, paleontologists discovered fossils of a dinosaur. Studies revealed that it belonged to one of the fiercest families in dinosaurs called Abelisauridae dinosaurs. Bahariya Oasis is famous for being rich in fossils, and previous times fossils of many other species of dinosaurs have been found here. But Abelisauridae was discovered here for the first time. It provides evidence that these dinosaurs used to roam the western desert of Egypt some 98 million years ago. This dinosaur is very similar to T-Rex in its fierceness, frightening shape, and skull. It has distinguishing features like teeth looking like knife blades, forelimbs short, and hind feet with strong and large muscles which help them to attack. According to paleontologist Sana El-Said, the discovery of these fossils indicates the presence of much more hidden troves of fossils in the land of Egypt and will change the history of vertebrate fossils. Egypt is still full of unearthed treasures in the form of temples, pyramids, and cities that give us knowledge about how the ancestors of this world used to live, and that curiosity urges archaeologists to discover these things. But whenever such discoveries are made, some people who have ancient thoughts and believe in myths ought to believe that it will impose curses on the living world. Opening the sarcophagi and removing things from temples to study, these actions irritate the gods and they will curse the world to end. Paleontologists say that discovery of fossils about incidents that happened in the past, such as drastic climate changes that made dinosaurs extinct, and we should take this as a lesson from history. Because history repeats itself, and maybe one day the global warming caused by us humans makes us extinct. Now you know where to dig for treasures. Shh, that's a secret. Well, that's what I know about the latest discoveries in Egypt. If you want to know more, then like, share, and subscribe. And don't let your urge to make discoveries fade away by the thought of curses, because we all have to die someday. So better make your life a highlight of the world.